In this video, I'm unpacking new art supplies from Sui Gouache, a handmade small business in Korea. If you enjoy what you see, there's a special perk I'll share with you. Then we'll slow down and enjoy a relaxing painting session. Anyways, welcome to my sitting room. It's super sunny and cozy here, opposed to my studio office, which is kind of like dark and dim and gloomy, and so it gives me more energy to work in this area. I wish you could tell me where to start because there's just too many goodies here. Let's start with the gouache, okay? Because, I want to see her brushes and I want to share why Sui Gouache is one of my favorite gouache paints to use. So I have all the gouache, I have her new travel brush set, and I can't wait to open that because I actually haven't seen it yet in person. And then also I have her acrylic gouache that I really want to do a painting with, and then also this glitter palette, which everyone just has so many questions about, so I'm gonna try to swatch a few of these for you all to see. So if you don't know much about gouache, gouache paint is an opaque watercolor, and there is the traditional kind, which is water soluble, which are in these tubes and in this set that I'm going to show you. But there's also an acrylic gouache, which is very similar to acrylic paint. The difference is that acrylic gouache tends to dry matte, while acrylic paint has like a glossy finish. I'm actually going to be painting a full painting later in this video with this gouache, so let's put this aside for now and open up the traditional gouache set. So these are all the colors that are in this kit. So there's 12 colors total, and it's such an awesome kit because it has like these really aesthetic colors that actually mix into new colors itself. So she has this like mixing guide for you here that shows you how all these colors in this kit can be mixed into new colors. She makes it really simple. She said that this palette was actually inspired by Monet and how aesthetically pleasing his color schemes were. So she wanted to design like pre-mixed base colors that could be mixed into brand new colors. I definitely have some favorite colors in this kit. I've used this kit like a lot in my work. So let me squeeze out all these paints and swatch all these colors so you can get an idea of what they look like on paper. I'm actually going to be using Sui's new metal palette. Isn't her packaging lovely? Anyways, I feel like she pays so much attention to every detail from product to packaging. Okay, so this holds 39 colors and there's also a swatch card included in here. Alright, and if you were wondering what was in this paper bag, actually, it's all the little watercolor cans. I have no nails right now, so it's so hard for me to open anything. I like broke my nails and then I cut them all off, and so anyway. Also, some of the paints, the oil might come out first before the pigment, which is okay. Usually you can just mix that back in. It really depends on how the paint settled. So that's what I've noticed about gouache paint in general. And I just wanted to show you the comparison between the individual tubes and the set. So the set will have a 7.5 milliliter tube, and then the individual tubes are 15 milliliters. So just so you know. This actually fits 39 colors, so you can put another row right in the middle, another row of pans. So then total it can fit 39 colors, but I don't have 39 colors yet, so let me swatch some of these colors for you to see, and I'll label them. Well, that was super satisfying to put together. Next, let me show you this very frequently asked about glitter watercolor palette. There are 36 glitter watercolors here. She calls them etoile. I hope I'm saying that right. But you can also get them separate in singles like this. However, I have it in this really beautiful acrylic set. I'm gonna try out a few for you on a postcard that is included in this shipment. So these are flowers, and I'm just gonna show you how these glitter watercolors look. On the side here, I feel like these different glitters has their own like shape of glitter in the brush. Can you see that? So all these glitters have their own size of glitter. Some of them are a little bigger, and then some of them are like more fine. This is a mini version of her glitter palette. Isn't that cute? I love that. It's so cute. And she also sent me this. I think it's like one of those cute keychains. Let's see. Let's see what this is about. Oh, whoa. So cute. How does she have like the cutest things ever? Look at this. So I can fill the gouache into this mini palette as well, and then this is such a nice plastic, like it almost feels like porcelain. But yeah, I could fill this up with gouache and use these as the mixing trays. So even here actually. Oh yes, and before I forget, let's open this up and see. These are her brand new travel brushes, and I'm seeing them for the very first time, so they look amazing. These are so cool. So actually there's 6 different brushes, and they're all travel size. So look at this. So this is the detail brush, but then on the other side is the flat brush. Alright, so I'm opening up the cat's tongue brush, and then this is the round brush. This is the dagger brush, and it's a bigger round brush. There's 6 brushes in total, and basically when you want to use one of them, you just kind of you close one side and you can hold it like this. You wouldn't use both brushes at the same time. I mean, I guess you could, right? I'm so excited to use these the next time that I travel. Super, super, super cool. And look, there's even holes on the ends which help the brushes dry. So I love these, so amazing. Alright, finally let's unbox Sui's Acrylic Gouache. I've actually been wanting to use these on a larger canvas painting for so long. Here are the colors. There are 24 tubes of gouache in here, and they have colors that are kind of similar to her traditional gouache colors, like the pinks, the yellows, and the lamb's ear, which is this like minty green color, and it's actually one of my favorites. So the sun is going down and I'm debating on if I want to start painting now or start tomorrow. So anyways, the reason why is because acrylic gouache dries pretty quickly, just like acrylic paint. What I'm going to do is I'm going to DIY a wet palette, which you'll see it's very simple. It's just a sponge with parchment paper on top of it, and then if you keep it in like a container of some sort and cover it, the paint will stay wet for longer. So that's probably what I'm going to do, but I'm not sure how long the paint will stay wet for. It could be anywhere from a few hours to a day. I've never really tested it out, so I'm debating on just starting to paint tomorrow morning. I feel like whenever the sun goes down and I turn on the lights, depending on what color light the room has, it changes my perception of the colors. So I kind of like painting when there is natural light, just because I feel like that is when I see colors in the purest form. Alright, let me quickly show you my DIY wet palette. This is basically just a takeout box. You see that? So it's just a takeout box with a cap. And then this is a cellulose sponge. And I'm just gonna wet that. It doesn't need to be like super wet, just moist. So I'm probably gonna go squeeze this out after I completely wet it. I'm gonna squeeze out all that water. And then after I squeeze that out, I'm gonna place this parchment paper on top. So the parchment paper is, you know, the paper that you bake with, but it's not wax paper. Like, it has no wax on top, so the moisture is able to seep through the paper and keep the acrylic gouache moist. So I set up my colors like a few hours ago. I let this sit here for a while just to see how the paint stays moist, and looks really moist to me. It looks the same as when I had just squeezed it out, so looks good. Looks like this DIY wet palette works. Okay, so for this piece, I wanted to paint a picnic scene. So this was an illustration I did a couple years ago, and I want to paint something similar on this canvas. A little background on this canvas: it was actually a cheap wall art that was on clearance, and I completely covered it up with yellow ochre, and I had it sitting around for a few months, so I'm excited to finally get to paint on it. I've lightly sketched the underdrawing on this canvas, and I'm starting to paint. So as I'm working with Sui's acrylic gouache, I'm noticing a few things. One is that this acrylic gouache feels very light-bodied compared to the Holbein acrylic gouache, which I've used in the past. which is also the only acrylic gouache I've used, I think that Holbein feels a little heavier and thicker, which is probably more similar to traditional acrylic paint, but I don't mind that Sui's feels lighter. So cute. I love drawing food. I get asked a lot if I sell my original artwork, and honestly, I don't. I've never really sold my original artwork, except recently I donated a piece for a charity sale. But other than that, I've never sold originals myself. I think part of that comes from a bit of imposter syndrome. I don't really see myself as a fine artist, and in my mind, fine artists are usually the ones who sell their paintings. My background is in textile design, so my art would be made into patterns and printed onto mass manufactured products, but now I just really enjoy teaching art, and since I don't rely on commissions or selling originals for a living, I just don't. But lately I've been thinking about how every original piece represents a specific stage of an artist's life and practice. I was listening to a book about Michelangelo, and I was wondering about his art before he mastered human anatomy through grave robbing, before he could paint and sculpt so realistically. I wondered about all the work he created and sold before he fully arrived and became the Michelangelo that we know today. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you feel like an imposter because you don't think your style is fully developed yet, but you want to sell your art, I think you should still do it. Because the person who buys your art is really holding a moment of your life and creative journey. Every piece carries a sentiment of who you were then, and as you keep growing, refining your craft, and evolving your style, you get to show new versions of yourself through your art. What's nice about acrylic gouache is that, you know, it's opaque, so if you mess up, you can just paint over it. I feel like I should have switched brushes earlier because it's getting finer and finer in between these details. Actually, I had this on my wall as a plain yellow canvas for a while now. And so finally getting the chance to paint on it is so awesome. Trying to make this illusion that this like blanket is like wrapping around this frame. I usually listen to like books and Christian hymns when I paint, but I don't know why today I just didn't want to listen to anything. I just wanted to finish it. The sun is setting soon, and my husband is coming back from work soon. Today is the second day of painting this painting, so I am determined to get done today and hopefully hang it on our wall. I feel like painting is kind of like cooking. You have to decide to stop seasoning your dish, or else your food could either be too salty or too spicy. So let's add some final details and get to a good stopping point. I hope you enjoyed this relaxing painting vlog. I've linked a little perk for Sui Gouache products in the description below. Thanks so much for watching and spending this time with me.